Okay, I want to say welcome everybody, welcome to another Blender video. In this video we're going to be looking at the editing mode, okay, in Blender. In the previous video I actually made quite a big in-depth kind of long-winded, but I made a video which was a tutorial on the object mode, which we're currently in, object mode. And you'll find when you're working in Blender you will be working in a lot of different modes because you'll be using object mode. If you go up here to the top left, okay, top left, you'll see this object mode, and when you go through these you'll see there's other modes like editing mode, sculpt mode, vertex paint, weight paint and texture paint. You might like to use sculpt mode a lot, and there's lots of other things at the top here, obviously, like different viewports, like different ways. Like we're currently in layout view, as I say. We've got modeling view, sculpting view, and you'll see every time we change into different viewports, you'll see that on the left here we have all around basically everything. You'll see on the right, on the left, everywhere you'll see different features and different tools for different things. So this is sculpt mode here, you know, and you can do different things in terms of sculpting. We'll look at that another time, okay? I don't actually do a lot of sculpting even now, nor do I do a lot of animation in Blender. I prefer to do my art and animation in 2D softwares, and that's what I really mainly focus on, my animation and art. But I do like to play around with 3D sometimes, and I do like to use 3D to help me with my animation and art setups. So I'm not going to go on. I'm not going to talk about all the other features, and of course, in this video, for the most part, mainly we're going to be focusing on edit mode. We're going to be talking about edit mode. This video I'm making for you here is talking about the edit mode, and it's going to be a simple, straightforward tutorial now showing you the different tools you can use, and just some. We're not going to cover everything, but just some of the basics, okay? Now, in the previous video, as I say, if you still need more, if you still are not too comfortable with the controls and some of the features regarding object mode and just some of the controls in general and options here, just definitely go and check out my video on object mode, okay? Because in that video I cover not only object mode, but I also cover the basic controls and everything, and certain other features. So let's begin, okay? Sorry for the long intro. Let's begin right now. Okay, here we are now. Okay, so right now, basically the thing is, when you're dealing with object mode, before you go into edit mode, you must understand something. You need to left click and select an object that you wish to edit. So in object mode first, you must first select an object, a mesh, okay, that is, so not this camera, which I'm going to delete, and not this light, which I'm going to delete also, but an object such as this cube here, which we're going to use in this example, or any kind of object you wish to use. You can also multi-select objects, so if I had two of this cube, let's say, I could select both of them and then go straight into edit mode and edit them together as well if I wanted to do that. In this video I won't be going over a lot of the shortcuts, okay, like I'm using here, like to do different things like duplicate, join, and lots of different things. You can check out the other video to understand the controls. So this video is taking it into account, okay, that you should have already some understanding of the controls, okay, but I may tell you some of the controls I'm doing. So first, select your object with left click, okay, so select your object or objects, multiple objects, you hold shift and then click them all. Then only then can you go into edit mode, which you'll be able to edit that object which was selected in object mode. Now, if I click away, you'll see that nothing's selected now. If you go to the top here, quick reminder, okay, because we are talking about edit mode, so I'll recover this part again, which I've already covered in the last video. We have points, which are the corners, like here. We have corners, okay, the points, and we also have edges, so I can choose the edge select mode if I want to select edges. To multi-select anything is the same as you deal with objects. You hold shift and then left click to select multiple things, so anything in Blender basically, so more or less. So if I select 4 edges by holding down shift and then left clicking on those 4 edges, they enclose one face. And if I click away anywhere else, you'll see that we have face mode as well. So face mode, if I click up here top left, can you see face, edge and point? Okay, selection. So if I choose faces, I can choose the first face. If I want to click on another face, I can do that. But if I want to select both, I'll hold down shift and then click both, or more if I wish to. Okay. You can, let me see, I think you can when you right click, as I say, there's a lot of different other features asking you what you want to do with some of these things. You can of course do certain things like subdivide and unsubdivide, sorry. You can do other things like the loop tools, like bridging things together, and circles. So many different things you can do. Okay, I'm not going to cover everything, but yeah, obviously if you want to deselect something, okay, it's the same thing. If you want to deselect, let's say for example I'm selecting objects, selecting in this case faces, and holding down shift, you know, and then left clicking on those faces. Let's say I decide I don't want this face selected. Simply hold down shift and then re-click on that, left click on that. Okay. If you want to deselect everything, then you can go up to here, edit, I think it is. No, it's not edit, my mistake. Where is it? Yeah, under select, maybe. There should be a thing saying deselect. I can't find it now, but what I would usually do is so easy. All you do is you just left click elsewhere. That's all, click outside of the selection. If you want to select, you know, one thing you can do is you could use the box select and then just drag and select all of them. Okay, but you can see that it didn't select the ones on the back. So what you could do is you could go into, you could obviously press A to select all, but that would just select everything in the actual scene as well. You may not want that, the other objects as well, if there were any nearby. What you may want to do is go up here, top right, to the show X-ray mode. Show X-ray. So we're in solid mode. We're not in wireframe mode, but it doesn't matter. You can still choose X-ray mode. So if I now box select, it should select all of them. There we go. Selected everything there. And then we can go back and turn X-ray mode off if we wish to. Okay, so once we have any faces selected, in this case, we're going to be working with faces a lot of times. There may be times where you want to work with edges and points, or all of them. But basically, what you can also do is you can right click now and go to subdivide, and look what happens. It splits them up. The more subdivisions you have, the more it's going to slow down your computer if it's a lot of work to deal with. If you're dealing with models with lots of polygons, basically they're called, right? The same as in sculpting mode. Like if you want a nice smooth rounded shape with lots of details or some mountain or something, you may have like lots of polygons, right? So that's why you see like a lot of models advertised as low poly or high poly. Low, that means like the polygons, it means like, you know, how many faces you're dealing with basically. So sometimes you can work with like low poly models, like low polygons, like this, like less faces, and things to deal with, you know, edges and points, but you can deal with like nice colors and texture paints and stuff to make things look like they have more detail, like when the actual model itself doesn't have much detail. So anyway, but we can simply still, okay, even subdivide this even further, but maybe I don't want everything you know, subdivided further. We can also right click and go to unsubdivide, right, which is cool. But let's say I want to just subdivide one face or maybe two faces. I'll just select those two faces by holding down shift and left clicking on both, then right click and go to subdivide. Then I'm going to do it again, right click and press subdivide, and then I'm going to do it again, right click and then subdivide. Wow. Okay. But I've just noticed something here. There's a problem. Like something's gone wrong here. Because I've obviously done something wrong, because it's selected. It's probably because it's got the edges selected as well. That's the problem. So let's hold down shift and press Z or Z. I'm just going to undo all of that. I'm going to click away. I want to just choose my faces really. Let's try that again. Subdivide. What happens? No, it still does that. That's very, very strange. But let's choose one and then do that. Maybe we have to do them separately, I think. How strange is that? It's not letting me do it. It's not letting me do it. It's a very strange cube, this one, I think. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this cube and start a new one. Hold on, guys. Oh, I need to go into object mode, of course. Object mode. Okay. Delete the object. If you want to deal with an object in terms of moving it, even deleting it, you need to go to object mode. Okay. So let's just add a new cube, a new mesh cube. It's okay. Just go back. It's selected already, so you can see by the highlight. I'm going to go to edit mode. It's all selected now. Let's just right click and go to subdivide all. Let's click. Well, let's subdivide one face. Can we do that? Yes. Can we do this one? Yes. No. No. Okay. Very strange. Very strange. But let's just not bother with that then. Let's just subdivide everything. Okay. In this case, maybe there's a reason for that. So we're subdividing the whole thing by a few times, quite a few times there. 3 times we did that, I think we did. Now I want to move my object up a little bit, so I'm going to go back into object mode. You're going to be finding yourself jumping between these all the time, okay? Between object and edit mode, you'll find yourself jumping between them both a lot. So that's that, okay? And now I'm going to go back into edit mode. And let's have a look, okay? So with these all selected, you can do quite a few things. I'm going to actually hold down. We're not going to actually do anything right now with this, I think. So I was just showing you how to do that. Let's just undo those subdivisions, okay, subdivides. Let's look at what we can do then with these tools on the left-hand side. Okay, so we've got the 4 main tools: the move, which is translate, rotate, which is turn around, and scale, which is to make things bigger in size. And again, you can do the same thing as I said. You can select, in this case, let's say a face, and we could, if we wanted to move the face, which will stretch everything as well, you know, we could rotate the face on any axis we wish, and it would turn everything around like that, you see. Okay, you could scale the face, say make it smaller here or whatever you want to do, like that kind of thing, or bigger. Okay, and then you can use all of these tools as well. You've got them all in one here, so you can do these as well if you wanted to do that. Okay, it can kind of get hard to control sometimes, as I say, you know, when you're working with this stuff. Okay, but okay, once that's done, okay, I mean, with that known, we're going to move on to the next thing now. Okay, the next part. So if I go down to here, you got annotate, which is if you want to write notes and stuff. I'm not going to show you that here. Measure, we're not going to look at measuring either, but we're going to scroll down. Use your mouse wheel, like a lot of things here. Use your mouse wheel just to scroll down, roll down. The first one is extrude region. So if I left click on extrude region and then click a face, you'll see that this little toggle comes up, which I can left click and hold, and I can pull it out. It extrudes it by left clicking and holding and pulling the mouse in whatever direction, up or down in this case. If I go on to another one here, you'll see click here and then pull out. But you'll see what it does is it actually subdivides that. It splits it up into a new face. So there are ways of not having that happen, different ways, but I won't show you right now. Okay, but you know, once you've done that, you may want to like make different changes. You might want to like rotate this face, for example. So you're working with all the different tools, you see. Okay, now let's just go back. So we'll undo all that just quickly, just to show you, so you're not confused. We can also go into. You can see there's a little arrow in the corner. Can you see the bottom right corner of this particular toggle here? Icon, extrude region. So left click, and let's try the other ones. We've got various ones like extrude along normals. So if I click that and just click one face and then drag it. What happens? You know, it's strange. It looks like it's the same thing, right? But what you need to do is you need to select multiple faces. So if I select multiple faces, you'll see what happens. If I pull this out, it does that. It drags them and joins them together. You see. You'll see that they're not completely straight though on the angles there at the bottom and right there. I need to go to this the options down here and then go maybe offset even, like that, maybe offset even, things like that. You can work different objects. I've just done something wrong there, but let's say for example here, offset even, for example, yeah, stuff like that. But yeah, that's one thing. Let's just go back to the extrude region one again. If I do this, see, it does that. Okay, it's kind of different, but you see what I mean. It follows the line. We get some strange shapes in this case, though. So every time you click again and again, it makes different splits, as you see that in that one. Just holding down Shift and holding down Control and pressing Z to undo that. Okay. So you can also go down to extrude individual, as I say, which will do this. See, it pulls them out as separate ones. Okay, separate ones. So it does that. Okay, pulls them out as separate things. So could be useful. You know, if you wanted to, for example, if I wanted to choose one face, subdivide it, click away, and then just click 2, for example, like that. I could, you know, bring those up by using this tool. You see, you could simply use the move tool. I mean, I could simply use the move tool like here, just moving them up. But no, it's different. You see, it sticks everything together. It's different, yeah. So that's what this is for, the extrude individual. So left click and then hold and go down to extrude individual. If I want to do it the other way, like extrude along normal, let's see what happens. Well, nothing in this case either, but you'll work it out as you go along. If I go to extrude to cursor, that's kind of interesting because now it follows my mouse wherever I go. Left clicking and holding, when I let go, bang, that's where it's going to be. Weird one, but let's undo all of that, take it back to our basic cube. Take it back to our basic cube. So I'm going to go back to extrude. Extrude region is the basic one. Let's go down now to inset faces. So inset faces, the next tool down on the list here. If I click that and hold it, I can drag a face in, you see, to a certain point like that, like this. So from here, I may want to, you know, push that in or out again. So I might decide to, you know, use the in extrude region, push that down, see, like that, or pull it out. You can do different things, you see. Again, remembering though, when you're dealing with things like this, if I do it again, the extrude region, see, when I'm here, I may still feel that that's not big or small. I can also deal with that with the scale tool, scaling the whole thing. So I can scale it using the scale tool here as well. It's another way of doing it, you see. Or like on one side like this, you see, or like that. I can do that, and then from there I could use the extrude region here to do that or that, you see. So there's different things you can do. Now you may also want to do certain things, so let's just move on. We're not going to look at everything, but let's go to the bevel tool. Now bevel is really for edges, although you can do it on more things than just edges, I think, but it's really for edges though. So if I click one edge, how do I do that? Do you remember? What you simply do is you go up here to the left, the top left here, where it says edit mode and all the modes. Just to the right of those you can see the point, edge and face. We're still currently in face select mode. Let's go into edge select mode and choose one edge. Here's one edge selected here. I'm going to choose 2 edges, I think. Let's just choose 2 edges. And then I'm going to go to, by holding down Shift as you left click on the different ones. Let's click on bevel. And now from here you just click and drag basically. And you'll see what's happening doing this. Once you let go, like a lot of these options, bang, you'll see a little thing will appear at the bottom left here. Be careful, don't click away or anything, because it goes away. So let's try again. Do this, then let go, and then go down to it carefully here, bottom left, where it's bevel. Open that up, this little drop box or pop-up box. And now you can go to where it says segments and up the segments, see up it or down it, make it more or less. So in this case I'll just make it like that maybe. We can also play around with the width if we wish to. The width, which is cool, right? Very cool. Look, you can make all kinds. I can make a tent or something if I wanted to. See. Obviously, you're getting more when you get more segments. You're dealing with more splits, meaning more polygons. Profile. What is that? The profile. Oh, it changes the shape. Yeah, you see, so you can do like this or like that. I'm able to turn it like this. Pretty useful, you know, stuff. Yeah. So they're basic things you can do there. Okay. Then once you're happy, obviously you can just like click away from it. Don't worry, because all of these lines you're seeing, all these splits, they won't be visible when you're in solid mode or in object mode like so clearly, you see. But what you can still see, you can still see the lines and the splits. But what you can do, we're in object mode. Okay, now object mode. You can right click and then on the object and then go to shade smooth and left click it. In this case, it's still not doing much. Sorry guys, because it's not. I think it's because we're still in solid mode. I'm not too sure, but there are, like, if I show you, for example, if I add another object like a mesh and bring a sphere in, a UV sphere, you see the sphere looks like this. If I right click and go to shade smooth here, you can see now it looks really round, you see. If I go to shade flat, it looks like this. If I right click and go to shade smooth, it goes smooth. But I think it's because the object that we've got there, this one, is just not. It's just the way it is, this particular object. That's why it's not showing up as so smooth. Oh, it did. Okay, it did work. Okay, it did work. That was weird. It did work. This time it worked. Okay. It was very strange. It didn't work at the start there. Remember, we're in solid mode. So if we go to different modes here, the top right, you have these different modes like wireframe, X-ray. You can turn the X-ray off by doing that. Also up here, solid mode. You know. Look dev mode, which I'm waiting for to load up. Okay, look dev mode, which basically shows like textures and stuff, but with no lighting and extra fancy stuff. Then you can go to like rendered mode, and you see everything in rendered mode. You can put your lights on different things and materials as well. Still, but let's go back to, as I say, what we're dealing with here, which is solid mode. Okay, solid mode, and just right click and go to shade flat, like we just had it. Or left click it first and then to select it and then shade flat. Remember, you can only select objects and deal with objects when you're in object mode like we are up here. Now let's go back into edit mode and continue looking at our features. Okay, so we've got edge select chosen up here, selected. Let's go down and choose this one, loop cut. I think for this what I want to do is I want to undo what we have there, that bevel which we just used. Okay, so let's go to loop cut, and we want to cut through faces, so we need to choose the face select mode. You'll rarely be using point select. I think mostly it's going to be edges and faces, and especially faces, and you'll be cutting faces and shaping them. Points and edges make the shapes of the faces basically, and that's what makes our model faces. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here and we're going to choose this one here. Okay, and it's one of those ones where it's got like extra features, you see, like offset edge loop cut as well if you left click and hold. But we're going to just choose loop cut. Okay, so we're going to go there and just choose the first one, loop cut. You can just simply click it, and when we hover our mouse over our model's faces, one particular face, or hold on, what, the edge basically, when you hover over an edge, it will show a loop cut like it's just shown there in yellow through the middle of the object. If I go onto this one now, vertical, this one here, you'll see it does that. Okay, if I left click now, bang, it's going to make a split that goes all the way around it, a loop cut basically, split that. And you'll notice after you've done that, it will automatically then find the next. It will find the next middle. So I've done that here. Now it's going to here. See, if I go anywhere, wherever I hover and left click, is finding the middles of those. You see. Okay. Then you can simply click off of that. You can go back to another one, or you can go back just to the move, or there's the select up here, at the top here. And choose one of those different select methods if you want to just go back to the normal selecting. Just click away. But let's just undo all those just for a moment. I want to show you something quickly. Yeah, let's say you have done that. Okay, let's say you loop cut and you left click, but this time hold it down. So click and hold. I have not let go of my left mouse button yet, so I can move my mouse here to get that into whatever position I want, which is cool, right? Just about here. I could then maybe go up to here, maybe choose this corner here. Okay, good, that's what I want, for example. Okay, and then from there we may want to go back to other things, such as I might want to go to my inset faces. I might want to go on to choose face select and then choose this face. I might want to cut that in, you see. That's what I'm trying to say, you see. And you know, from here you could do so many things, you know. I might want to push it in. I might want to just use the push button to push it in like this, even, you never know. I might want to maybe make that rounder. I might want to just click away and then select just those faces. I might want to go back into bevel mode and play with those a little bit, or do some kind of crazy shape, you know. Maybe just choose the edges, maybe those edges. Maybe let's just see those 4 edges. I think it will select the face though, which it did. If I choose bevel, what will happen? Okay, yeah, I can bevel it like this maybe. Gonna be up there, a bit crazy, I know, but I'm just showing you roughly. Up the segments, you see, and then play with the profile, like make it round thing like that or something, you see. I want to make some kind of speaker or something, or window frame, I don't know. We just choose the face, maybe inset it, where is it? Extrude region, but like push it in, something like that, you see. You can create all these different kind of cool shapes. If I was in a rendered view, I could go here, rendered view, you know, and I could well, we're in edit mode, that's why it looks ugly. So let's go back into object mode and then drop a light in there. Go to add and go down to light, point light. You can see I've moved that light into a place here and bring a light in. We've got a little light inside the room there, you know. Turn the toggles off and stuff so you can just see it like that, you know, different things going on. Okay, we'll look at more things like that as we go along, okay, in different other videos. So let's go back to solid view, turn back our visibility of our overlays and our overlays with the grid and everything and the gizmos. Click away. Let's go back into edit mode. We've got to select this object first, make sure it's selected, and then go to edit mode, and let's go down to, what else do we have? We have under loop cut, we still have another one to look at, offset edge loop. So let's go to offset edge loop. What does it do? Offset edge loop. It seems first we need to have a loop cut, so let's make a loop cut. Oh, I need to have that visible. Sorry, yeah, I didn't have it visible. So let's go back. No, let's go back. Okay, we don't need to do it. Let's go to offset edge loop cut just directly. I'm still wrong. Okay, okay. We need to go to loop cut first. Then I think go to offset edge loop, and then it makes like 2 of them. Interesting. Seems to be. I'm not too sure how that works. I never really bother with it too much, but kind of interesting. Yeah, even, or you can make them even too. You can make them even. Well, they are even anyway. Yeah. Cap endpoints. There's so many things you can do with this. Really cool. Let's click away. Let's go down to knife. You have a knife tool, okay? So the knife tool is kind of awkward to use, but basically you just cut points to different points and just separate them. Click and click again, you know, one edge to another edge. Well, hold on, there should be a way of doing this. Yeah, like that. And it's basically for splitting edges like that, but it's not something I use a lot, but it's something like that you can do. I'm not going to bother with that now. Undo, okay, let me just check that quickly. Yeah. So what else do we have? A poly build, I'm not going to play around with that. Spin. I mean, what that basically is, poly build is just like you build your own shapes from points. You make a bunch of points and it makes a shape basically. Spin. It's got different ones you can do. Spin duplicates as well. Let's just try that. Spin. Okay, so what does that do? I'll choose face select and choose a face. Then choose this. Okay. Oh, it comes up with a loop thing. I see. so you can turn the thing. So okay, how about if I select the whole damn thing and twist that? Can I do that? Yeah, I can. Wow, it spins the whole thing and twists it into some strange, crazy shape. But it seems like the whole thing was not selected in the first place. I don't know, is it me or... I don't know. I don't know how that's working. I really don't get that. Okay, let's see. What about if I just raise one up like that? Well, with the extrude region, maybe pull that up. And how about if we just select some faces? It can be quite fun, you know, doing this. Go to X-ray mode for quickness, and we'll just select that bunch of faces. Turn X-ray mode off. Okay, now let's just twist that sucker along the line. Weird, it moves in some strange way. Very weird. So I don't know what duplicates does. Really don't know. Oh, it makes duplicates. Oh, that is so damn cool. I didn't realise it would make duplicates like that. Yeah, that is something there. It's a house with a load of guns blasting out of it. I don't know. That is crazy. Let's try again. If I do this, if I go down here, we've got options for it too. So steps 9, I can make it more or less. I can make a load of them, hundreds of thousands. No? Angle. Hold on. So angle. I can change the angle, can I? This is really weird. Center, positions, axis. You can move stuff. This is really funny. All these different toggles, obviously here too, haven't we? Yeah. That is really, really strange. Never tried that. Creative stuff. Okay, let's go down here. You'll notice there's a few purple ones. They're not all green. Okay, so let's click away and let's choose another one. If I choose this one here, and these have all got extra ones too. So I click smooth. Smooth. What does that do? Smooth. I think I can smooth everything. So let's smooth it over. Select everything. Press A to select all, I think, and go down to smooth, and then left click and drag, and it'll smoothen it out, yo. So I can make a rock or some kind of rounded shape, you know, and choose the shape. Really, really interesting. If this had more subdivisions, like if I right clicked and then went to subdivide, I'm still playing around with that. I can make it even more rounded, you know. And if I'm into the solid mode, object mode, sorry, and then right clicked and went to shade smooth, it would look very round, you see. Okay, we'll talk about modifiers and stuff in another video, but I'll show you something very quickly for fun. Okay, just really quickly. If I was in object mode here, and if I go down here to where this spanner is, again for modifiers, under modifier, the spanner wrench, and go to add modifier, and then go to where is it, man? It's called remesh. You'll already see something's happening there, but what you do is you go down to blocks. And I love this. It just makes everything into blocks. And don't click on apply yet, but you can play around with the settings, like make it more or less. You say octi, whatever the hell that says, octree depth, and then the other one the scale as well. Make it like whatever, bigger, smaller. You can play around with these toggles here, make them like more or less. That's quite a lot actually. I'm hoping it hasn't crashed. It may have crashed. Just hold. Don't make it too high. This may have crashed, so we'll have to like reopen Blender if that's the case. But it's fascinating. Right? We're just going to turn this off. We're just going to reopen Blender. I've just crashed Blender, but you've got a threshold thing there as well, and a remove disconnected pieces and all kinds of stuff you can do. So you can turn like a rounded kind of shape like that into a more blocky shape using blocks, basically. It's really, really fascinating what you can actually do, you know. I mean, some people are into that Minecraft stuff, but I'm not really into that myself personally. But let's just click elsewhere, hold shift and then select the camera and the light, press delete on the keyboard and go back, and then left click and select our object, go down to, in this case it's a cube, go down to edit mode, and then we're going to go scroll all the way down with the scroll wheel, left click and go to randomize. Get randomize this time. Left click and hold, and then go down to randomize, let go. Now left click and hold. You see it's randomizing a smooth. We're not seeing too much of smoothness going on, so let's right click and go to subdivide, because all the faces are selected. We'll do that again, right click and then left click on subdivide. We'll do that once again, and then we'll play around with this again, the randomize smooth tool. Look what you're getting this here. Wow. Probably could go up to the normal smooth as well now, and then play with that some more as well. Getting all these kind of weird shapes. Now once you've got these shapes like this, don't forget you can click off elsewhere and then go back into object mode and start making duplicates and stuff, like by holding shift and then pressing D and moving like different ones into place, and you can like make all kinds of things. You could turn this around, you know, scale it on different ways. Don't forget, okay, the shortcuts for these things are still the same in any mode, okay? If you want to join two objects together, you simply select two objects, like select all of your objects you want to join by either holding shift and then singly left clicking on everyone, or using the box selector is one way to highlight all of them. Left click, drag and then let go. Hold and let go. If you want to join them, as I say, to make them into one object, you hold down, as I say, Control and press J, or right click and then go to join when the thing shows up. Bang. So now this is one object, and now I can right click and go to shade smooth, and it looks like that if I want to, or right click and shade flat. We've got a lot of polygons that we're dealing with there, as I say, even as it is. So let's undo all of that by holding Control and pressing Z a few times until we get our cube back. Okay. So let's go move on now. So if I scroll down and go to, I was going to say, if you want to scale things or translate things, scale is with S. So let's go into object mode quickly and press S while the object's selected, of course, and then press S and then move my mouse. It's the same as going to the scale thing here, toggle. But if I want to rotate it, then I left click on it and press R to rotate like that, or just control the toggles, as I say. The toggles, make sure it's selecting the right one over here though, still, because you may press the letter, but it just if they still update it over here if you want to use the toggles. If you want to move it, then you just press if you want to move an object, you need to press basically G to grab it and then do that. But if you want to move it on a certain axis only, then you need to press one of those axes. So the blue is for up and down, which is Z. Green from this angle we can see is the green one, and that's Y, and X is the red one, the red line. So if I just press X now, I left click on the object, I press G to grab it, and then if I move my mouse freely, it will move freely, the same as it would with scaling and rotating. R to rotate, S to scale, G to grab, and then you just move your mouse to translate it, which is move it. But if I want to move it along only one direction, I choose one. So we've got the red line, the green line, and the blue line. Just reviewing that, the red line is X, the green line is Y, and the blue line is Z or Z. So just press Y, and now when I move it, it locks to that. When I move my mouse, it's locked to that. Okay. You can also press numbers and stuff to get things in certain actual angles you want to have, such as the rotation. Okay, so if I reshape my object just quickly, if I just reshape this object to be like a door or something, okay, and it's a door, and I wanna like put it up like that, and I want it to be like flat like a table, or I want to turn it around to face another way. I can press, for example, while that's selected after left clicking, I can press R, and then press, in this case, the Z, which is up and down, would be straight through the middle of it, so we can imagine it's swiveling, so on that axis. So I'm going to press Z, and I don't want to use my mouse to try to roughly work it out, to move the mouse. That will just let me turn it freely. Instead I'm going to press 90, just press the number 90, and then left click. I think press enter would also be okay, and then there you are, you've got a 90-degree angle. You can just move it into position using those move tools and stuff. To move it on the axis you need to move. You can make it the right shape, make it the right size for a door if you want to do that. You know, all that stuff, right? So I'm just saying, okay, and put all these different shapes together and make things. There are ways of grouping objects. I've already talked about joining objects by selecting multiple objects and then holding Control and pressing J to join multiple objects. But let's go back into edit mode, which is what we're looking at today. I'm going to go to edge slide, and there's different ways to do it. Vertex slides, or I think that's just the points basically. So you can probably like just choose an edge. So in edit mode now, okay. Don't get confused. Click on the edges. Just choose one edge here and then move it, because you can slide it into a different position, sort of thing. You see, kind of interesting. This one may work over here. Okay, so you can slide the edge to another new position. Maybe pretty useful for certain things. Vertex, I think that's just the points. Basically, that should be the points. Not too sure about that one because we're talking about points really. So to me, I think we need to click on the point selection up here first, then use it. But to me, it doesn't seem to do much. It just seems to be like locking them into different position places and stuff. I don't know what that's actually done. So just get our shape back how it was, like a cube in the first place. Okay, let's just move it up there. Remember, if you're not too sure about where things are and everything, there are ways to get it accurate by pressing numbers and stuff after you press G and then move and then click and then press G and then press the axis, letter Z, X or Y, and then pressing the number. But in this case, I'm just going to show you something on the top right here again. Top right, you can see these angles, these camera angles. If you click on these little toggles, it will just turn it into different directions. So I want to move it slightly up here to get it flat. See, perfect. I want to move it along here. Okay. And then once I'm happy with that, I can just move the camera around here again. So you've got these little toggles at the top right. Okay, you can use these. It will just snap to different views. I mean, it will turn it. And you can just simply, from here, for example, it's not perfect, right? Here, okay, I want to move it here a bit better. If you wanted to do that, let's say, depends. And then you just press the middle mouse button in, as I say, the middle. One more time, just going over the controls again. Then, so if I press the middle mouse button in, like a button, the wheel, and then move my mouse, it will move the camera like this. But if I hold Shift down and then do the same thing, so hold down Shift, press and hold it, then press the middle mouse button in, like a button, and move the mouse, it will pan it like this. Okay. If I don't hold anything down, but I just roll the mouse wheel in and out, up and down, it will zoom in and out like this. Left clicking is for selecting and deselecting objects, obviously. Right click will bring up another menu, right clicking, okay, different things to say. And you'll use shortcuts a lot of the time, like using holding down Control or holding Shift or holding Alt, or a combination of those to do different things when you're clicking on things, okay. You may have, as I say, letters and numbers you might need to press on the keyboard too. Anything else I'm forgetting? Not particularly at this time, I don't think. So, and sometimes you'll need to press and hold, as I say, left click and hold. I can just literally click the object here and just move it around now, see, freely, or rotation as well, freely. But I like the way it's got these toggles and stuff to actually help you for certain directions and things, you know, that helps. So, okay, so now I'm going to go into edit mode again. Edit mode, okay. So those four toggles are still there, and those ones are still there when you're in edit mode. The fourth one being the combination of all of those three I just showed you, but they're still there in edit mode. The difference is when you're in edit mode, mostly you're working with the pieces that make up the object in terms of the faces, which are made up of edges and then points. Okay, that's what it basically is. Yeah. So you know, a point. You know, you got 2 points. You got a 1D. I don't know. 2 points make a line or whatever. You know, it's like one flat thing. You know. You got like 3D being a face, or like 3D being a thing. You got four edges make a face, right? You know, more faces make more objects, more shapes. You know, I'm babbling on. Let's move on. It's not a science lesson. Let's go down to shrink and flatten. This is very useful. Shrink and flatten. You've got a push and pull tool, which is also very useful. We've got all of the faces selected. Choose face select as well. It's face select. Yeah, sorry, face select. Now they're all selected. We can shrink and flatten them. So if I choose one face, I can Okay, it's basically, it's like a push and pull thing. But you see, with this shrink and flatten, it's really good because what it's doing is it's dragging this up, you see, and there's no split. Whereas if I use the extrude region, which you may want to use sometimes, like one of the extrude ones, like the extrude region for example, it will split it, you see, made a new split. Then you might not want that. You may just want to drag something longer. So you may want to use, as I say, this shrink and flatten. Excuse me, let's get rid of that. Okay, let's go. Hold on. Here, and then shrink it. Why is it doing that? I think it's because it just had a... Oh, that's really strange. Why is it doing that? Hold on, man. Oh, because we didn't select it, that's why. We were still using this one. We're still using this one. See, I chose that, but I didn't choose it as such, it seems. So, choose that again. You see? Yeah, that's it. Make sure it's selected first. So moving the mouse. Weird, I'm moving the mouse down and it's going up. I'm moving it up and it's going down, but still, it just drags it and stretches it. So you can do that again and again. So it's really good. With the shrink and flatten, you can also go to push and pull. It's very much like SketchUp, these are. Same thing, so that's pushing and pulling is making it bigger and smaller that way. So this is basically like working with SketchUp the way I see it, you know. So I might want to go in there, I might want to use my inset faces thing. Where is it? I may need to double click or so a few times to make sure. Sometimes you can only get it to like a certain size. I want to go much smaller than that, but it's not letting me. So what I do is I just simply leave. I can simply go to the scale. I could just press S here and press to scale and then move it. See, and that drags that in anyway. Try not to get any overlapping or anything like that. So you can be careful. This is the thing. Depends how you do this. So I'll just go to the scaling here. I'll use the scale. You can choose the outer circle, don't forget to select everything. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm trying to do. I think I was just accidentally moving on a different angle, that's why it was slightly overlapping just then. So use the toggle. The toggles are really good over here. Now from here I might want to do that. You see, I might select that face and I might go back down to what we was using, the shrink, push and pull, or let's say the shrink flatten. So I might pull that up, you see here, see? Or I might want to go, let's see, I might want to what do I want to do? Let's see. I'll use the extrude region because I want to split it here, so it just separately goes up by itself. Then from here, I want to select the other faces around here. Let's see what that does. I think selecting the edges would be better in this case, but I'm going to try and see what shrink flatten does. So I'll pull it out. You can pull it out like this or that. See, you could do that. That's kind of cool. Pull it back in. I don't like that. I could maybe use, what's this one do? Shrink, push and pull. Just doing different kind of angles, these different kind of things. What would rotate do then, I wonder? Oh, they all go in the same angle if you're not careful here, so I'm just trying to work different things out. Okay, if I choose the 4 edges then, I can't really choose the face except for the face on top. Let's choose the 4 edges here, these 4 edges. I've gone to edge select mode, by the way, from the top left there. Make sure I've got the right select thing chosen. The rotation thing was hiding that there. So I selected those 4 edges. How about if I then maybe go to push and pull, yeah, from this one. Will that work? That ain't even working, man. But let's try shrink and flatten. Would that work? Not so much. Okay, let's try the size, scale. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Size, scale, then we'll move it down by using the move tool. And there you go. You see? If I want to go any further than that, I could probably just click on the faces. I just click those 4 faces then. Hold shift and select them all, left click. Then go to bevel. Kind of a long video now, right? Then left click and drag. Going to get this kind of thing happen. So maybe I should have chose the edges after all. Yeah, the edges, just the edges. Maybe let's just choose the edges. There's 4 edges. I want to get those. I want to just get those edges basically. This one, and these ones as well if I can, the horizontal ones basically. Let's see what that does. I think I can it selects that as well, so let's go back to what we had. Okay, let's go to bevel, drag, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, like that, something in the middle like that. Now we'll go to the options of the bevel by clicking that little box there, the bottom what comes up. Go to segments, up the segments, you see. We've only got these two, which is weird. It's not letting me do the other one, but never mind. Must be a reason for that. We could probably play with the width. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. The profile, weird, man. Get all these weird shapes going on here. Anyway, it's cool though, right? You can do certain things like that. It's overlapping kind of weirdly there. I guess we could do it this way, profile it in like that, maybe even. You see, there's all kinds of weird shapes going on. Okay, so let's just undo all of that quickly. Undo everything. Let's get it back to how it was. Undoing everything here. Oh, okay. Get back to how we was. Now let's click on face select. Okay, and let's go down to this one, shear. So shear, I haven't even played with this ever in my life. I don't think these ones shear. So let's have a look what they do. How weird can you get? Offset. Weird, very, very weird. You can play with those, or you just stretch and play with it like weird. It's like you're twisting the thing, that's all you're doing really. Let's play with the other one, sphere. To sphere. What does it do, I wonder? To sphere. I don't know. I guess it's because we're not working with a sphere, so it's kind of weird. Factor. Okay, don't worry about that, let's leave that. Go down to rip selection. I don't know what that does really. It just rips it, opens it up, I guess. Rip things apart. I'm not even. I'll make sure you select it. Yeah. What is? You need to select more than one face. I think it's saying. Cannot rip selected faces. Rip edge. What about that? I don't understand this really. It's kind of weird, but you're stretching it in a weird way anyway. Haha. Okay, so that's that, you know. As I say, if you want to do any animation in this, okay, let's just go to object mode. I think we can do animations with edits too, but let's go into object mode because usually it's in object mode for animation. If you want to do any basic animation, you see we have a timeline at the bottom here, a timeline at the bottom, okay, and the time runs through there frame by frame, and you'll see a list of here, like from start to end, okay, start to end. The numbers, so you can up those, drag those, and you'll see the bar change there, up or down them. Okay, currently on frame 91. Let's go back to the very start. So if I want to choose my select arrow up here, top left, okay, here, top left, just choose the select, normal select, I think this one, okay. I choose my object. If I want to make this move along, so let's choose the move tool, and if I want to make this move, let's imagine this is a car, okay. I want to make it go from here, and then I want it to turn, then I want it to go over here, okay? We're not going to animate the camera or do anything fancy in this video. I'm just showing you a basic one, okay? We'll talk about this more in future, same as modifiers too. But what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to just go to like frame 1, so you can click on here. This is play, obviously, or play through. If you press play, it will just play through, see? On here, you can play backwards also. But just go back. You can jump to a keyframe, like go to another keyframe. We don't have any currently, and you can just go to the end point or go back. You can also use your arrows on your keyboard, like to right click or left click to go forward or backwards through the keyframes. So I'm just going to go to like, I'm going to do something. I'm going to choose this little option here. Can you see this little point here? My arrow, this is, you turn it on, it auto keyframes, so when I press that you don't have to add them yourself. This way it's pretty cool. You can just let it add, it will add them for you and update whatever changes you make on the timeline. So if you want to do them yourself you can, but I prefer doing it auto like this and then just readjusting the positions of them with the timing and stuff by left clicking and dragging, or deleting if you want to, or copying and pasting. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to move this car back. Let's imagine it's a car. And you can see, yeah, we're at frame 0, but it's added a point. Can you see that? It's added a point down here on the keyframe, on the timeline. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this first to, let's say, somewhere in the middle. Then I'm going to move my object to about here, and watch what happens when I let go when we get to here. Let's say, for example, bang, it's added a keyframe. Now when I move this along, you can see it's moving now with that. If I go to the beginning and press play, it will play that, see? If it's a bit too slow, man, okay, well, we're not going to change the speed, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to move left click and drag to move this keyframe here, you see this, to another point, maybe about here. And then what I want to do is when it goes to here, okay, I want it to turn when we get to here. So I'm going to, if I press to turn it, rotate it now to here, excuse me, undo. If I choose to turn it to about here, there's only one problem. That keyframe is on top of that. It's already turning, you see, as it goes. It's turning to get from there to there, which is not really what we want. So I'm going to undo that turn. Undo that turn, okay. And I'm going to make it, let's just make it like just as it goes there. So let's just go for that little tiny bit after that. And I'm going to click on the rotation, but don't move it. Click it. So it's not done anything, okay. Then I'm going to move it along a little bit. So there's a space between that. So I've pressed rotate, but I've not rotated it. So it's going to start the rotation from here. Start and end point for the rotation, basically, the same as anything else. A very quick rotation, so it's going to go quickly to there. And the same for the move. I'm going to click on the move again, and I'm going to just click here once. Just click here. Then I'm going to move it. So it's a start point. You just click it once, and then you move to where you want to go, and then you find a new position and move it to a new position and let go. And what that will do is that will make it sure that you've started it from one point to another. If you've not understood me, watch this video again in slow motion if need be. Because otherwise it will just continuously do the whole motion through that, you know. So if I go back, you'll see what I mean now. If I press play now, it will move, stop and turn and then go. You see? I can make that even slower if I want to drag those out. Yeah, see that is, see? Turn. Well, he's already going, so he's already going, see? Because that's part of the turn. So this one, that means this is the one for the start. Okay, let's go here. Sorry. So go to here. He turns. Hang on, he turns. Don't know why he's bouncing back like an idiot. I think because I've got to make sure he's in the same direction, that's why. Okay, but whatever, you get the idea that you can work it out with your own timing. See, he's a taxi, he's got to pick somebody up. They get in and he goes, let's go. You know, and you can animate anything. You can animate your sizing as well. But you see, if I make this really big now, then it's going to start off really small and it's going to finish off really big here. So if I want to make it like just suddenly like change, then what I need to do is I need to go to scale here, click on the outside circle if I want to, just press it a little bit, just make it like about the same as it is already. See, it's given a keyframe. Then I move to a new point. Then I make the change. You see, so it started from there. See, as it goes along, then it gets bigger here. See, because if I didn't do that, if I didn't add that first point initial and keeping it how it is, then if I just went to, let's say, about here and made a change to here, you watch what happens. Now it's gonna start growing right from the start. It's gonna start growing. See, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It should do. Hang on, maybe not. If I get rid of that one, then delete keyframe. I just selected that and deleted the keyframe. See. You see, it's too early. We didn't want that to happen. Anyway, that's some very basics on the keyframing account. I'm not going to go too much into that animation stuff there, but it will loop play, as I say. It will loop play. Okay, starting a new project here. Just gotta change this. It will loop play, and you can animate anything, which is so good. You can actually animate anything. I think that's really, really great. More or less anything in this. I'm going to stop this video and say I hope you really enjoyed this. As I say, just remember you've got object mode and edit mode, and you've got different things like adding different objects, playing with those. You've got object. You can go to object and use some of the same options we already looked at. So here anyway. There's things here too which I don't know how they work, so I'm just going to have a little quick spy while we're here. I'm going to go into render mode and have a little look before we go. I'm kind of fascinated myself. Go into render mode and let's have a look at what we can find. This is actually render mode, wow. Pretty interesting really, because I don't know why we can see everything so clearly like that. Maybe because of this light, I think. So let's move this timeline there, don't need it from now. Oh yeah, the light's very bright, isn't it? That's get it back to where it was. Get rid of that camera. We don't need that for now. But yeah. So you can animate different things like lights as well and stuff, as I say. Animate them. The brightness, the colour, power, everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little look at something here while I'm here. I'm going to go to. Totally forgot what I was going to look at. Oh yeah, I'm going to go to this quick effects. What does that do, man? Quick fur. What does that do? Well, that is some fur, man. That has added some fur on there, man. That has added some fur on that sucker. What the hell just happened? This thing has just been given some fur. Very fascinating. It's a modifier, is what it is. Particles. How fascinating can you get? So let's turn that off. Let's get rid of that for a second. Okay. Let's click back on there and go to Object, Quick Effects, Explode. What does that do? I think it just like exploded. Beavers. Okay, nothing really happened apart from it just cut a hole from the top. Let's add. Okay, I'll go to Object. Smoke. You got smoke or fluid. Different ones there. So it's doing something. I don't know what it's doing. I press play. Oh, now I know what it's doing. Oh wow! Look at that. That's cool, man. I turn off the visual things here. That is cool, man. Wow. Let's go back. It's a cube. Oh wow. Talk about fascinating, huh? So I could obviously, change the colour of this material of this. I could go to material, can I? Yeah, I've not changed the colour for it yet, so I'll change the colour for the background just really quickly so we can see what we're doing. You see? Yeah, now you can see. How fascinating do you call that? Look at that. Wow, look at that. Now we're getting some weird stuff going on, but for an angle. Okay, I'm getting weird on you now, ain't I? Let's choose another one. Let's undo that, right? I did undo the background as well. Let's go back to the other one. There's another one there, isn't there? So let's do the other one. Let's say Object, Quick. See for the keyframes and stuff you can add here as well. Play with them here. Go to Effects, okay, and go to Fluid. Cell Fracture as well as another one. What does Quick Fluid do? I can't wait to see what this one does. It's making it like a liquid. I can see it's making it like a liquid. It's probably going to pour down or something. There's physics and stuff you can work within this, as I say. And things like that too. So let's just press play. Is it going to turn into liquid or fluid? One look of it, no. Wow, it's got a blueness inside it as well. It's very strange. I think it's because it's transparent, isn't it? That is a reason. So let's make this. Let's move this light up. If it will allow me to move the light. Hang on. Move this line up over it, over the top. Bring that down. We're definitely dealing with like very low polygons too, don't forget. I'll go into this just really quickly, this mode. Oh yeah, oh my god. So it depends what kind of backgrounds you're working with, different things you see, but that's crazy, that is so crazy. Whoa. So you need to actually literally change the background to see all of that stuff. But I'm not doing that now, you know. Very fascinating. Very fascinating indeed. So there's so much stuff you can do. I'm new to it, you know. The cell fracture, what's that do? I'm not going to play with that. Let's just stop this one and say thank you very much for watching. There's so much you can do in Blender, as I say, it's amazing. You can even do video effects and stuff too. Like we go to V, where is it? Even from here, where there's different things you can do, like object. Where was that one we just had? File. I just saw a thing that said VFX, it just like interested me. I find this really fascinating, guys. I'm just looking through here myself just while we're here, just really quickly, you know. But you know, there's so much stuff you can do in Blender, it's great. Right click, is it? Object, where is it, man? There's one that says VFX. I think I'm going to stop this video because I'm getting carried away now. So I'll talk to you again soon. There's one that does say VFX on it, I know there is. The heck is it? God damn it. I'm going to stop this one here. You take care, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and more to come. Thanks. Talk to you again soon.